Okay. With this, the value proposition, okay? Exactly what does that mean and why is that important to you? So, okay, the value proposition, your value proposition is a unique, memorable, and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working, addresses the specific and special needs of the buyers and sellers in your market, states what you will do for your client to earn your commission, and holds you accountable to a high standard, okay? So this is not a one-size-fits-all statement, but it's definitely one that you might reuse pretty consistently. And it is going to change maybe slightly depending upon your clientele and also the state of the market, right? So it's unique, memorable, and persuasive, right? So a handful of different things that, might fit those buckets, right? Something unique about me, like me personally, I have a finance degree, right, from UVU. So I use that. I tell people that I'm really passionate about analyzing how money works and making sure that people make great investments, right? So that's unique to me. So just be thinking as we go through today, some of the unique things about you, right? You might speak another language. You might, me personally, I've grown up in Orem almost my whole life, right? So Utah County is really my home, okay? Address the specific and special needs. What are some specific needs for buyers in this market specifically? Does anyone know what happened to rates over the last year and a half? Up in the rates. They go up or down? They went up, right? What does an increase in interest rates typically mean? A decrease in affordability, right? So that's a real pain point right now. Yeah. Maybe another pain point. It's wintertime, right? Just the reality of moving during the winters sucks. It just kind of does, right? Something like that. So those are some specific needs. Yeah. Maybe a lot of uncertainty in the economy, right? Might be another thing that's really prevalent right now. State what you will do for your client to earn your commission, right? Is it, I charge a full 6% commission just because I do, right? I promise you, the more you get clear about your value proposition, the more money you're going to make. I remember being in the beginning, I was so quick to negotiate against myself, give discounts on my commission, right? So that's what having clarity on steps.
The other thing it does is hold you accountable, right? I love this portion of it because you can reference back to what you already said, right? And it also helps hold your client accountable, right?
You can say, hey, Mr. Seller, I said that I would do X, Y, and Z to net you the most money. That's what I've done. Who do you know that might also benefit from these services, right? So it goes both ways. Not only does it help your client hold you accountable, like Hunter, you said you would follow up with all the leads. Let me see the call log of all the leads you followed up with, right? So not only does it hold you accountable to the job that you're setting out, but again, it does give you an opportunity to be like, look, I told you I was going to do this and I did it. And that's going to warrant you referrals, repeat business, right? So that's why being clear on this is going to be super important, okay? So top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them, right? So again, benefits of a value proposition, we just kind of discussed that. Helps your clients understand your value and expertise, protects your commission, and builds strong and trusting relationships. So here's the value proposition of these companies, right? As a real estate agent, you have to make yourself unique. Do you guys know how many realtors there are in Utah County? About 3,000 realtors. It's probably less than that, it's like 2,700, but usually around 3,000 realtors in Utah County at any given time, okay? Now, we know that most of them actually probably aren't actually selling real estate. They just have their license and they'll probably fall off. But you have to make yourself unique, right? You have to make yourself stand out, okay? So these are just some examples of some companies that have stood out to kind of get your brain moving, right? Airbnb, you guys know what Airbnb does? It says, Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that is local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable. Walmart, everyday low prices for a broad range of goods that are always in stock in convenient geographical locations. We'll do QuickBooks, send invoices in minutes and get paid 2 times faster, right? So these are quick little blurbs of exactly what these, what's the value of using these companies, right? So now I want you to think, okay, if I have Hunter's name here, Chris's name here, I have Ariana's name here, I have anyone else's, any other realtor's name up here. What is their unique value proposition? Okay. Okay. Connect to your value. So also understanding the value that your association with KW brings, with this local market center, what that brings, and with your fiduciary responsibilities, as well as your market expertise. How does that bring value to your client? And we'll discuss that now. Okay, so one thing about KW, right? I think that especially as a brand new agent, you should leverage the credibility of others. Yeah. Now it's not very often that someone's going to ask you, well, how many homes have you sold, Lucas? Like I remember being a new, did you guys ever have that worry? Like that's going to be an issue? Yeah. Has it been an issue yet for you guys? No? Anyone online? Has that been an issue? Your time in the industry? Has that at all been an issue? I hope it hasn't. There's a strong chance that you've thought it might be an issue, right? What I'm here to tell you is that, and this is a little side tangent. No one, I don't want to say no one, but almost anyone I've ever met doesn't care how many houses I've sold. They care if I can get the job done. Okay. So if I express that really clearly, it hasn't been an issue. I've also thought not only just I've also remember thinking, well, I haven't been in the industry long enough. I'm not as experienced as maybe some other agents. But guess what? The reality is there's always going to be an agent that has more time in the industry. There's always going to be agents that have less time in the industry, right? So that's not necessarily a tried and true factor of what makes a good real estate agent, is it? No, right? Because guess what? Even the best real estate agents today were new at one point, right? So they had to get into the business. They had to get to where they are now. And that very well might be this group, right? So that being said, still you can leverage KW, right? So, how many homes have you sold? Or, I like to say, me and my organization, we sold $1 billion in real estate last year. That's this market center, right? We sold $1 billion in real estate last year. 1 in 5 homes are sold by Keller Williams agents, right? You can't, drive down the street without seeing one of our signs, things like that, to let your client know that, hey, I work with the absolute best, and use that to support yourself, right? Even though you might not have partaken in, all of that volume last year, it's still your organization, right? And you have the resources, you have the connections to those people. Say I work, on a real estate team with committed leaders that help me through the transaction, whatever you need to say to overcome anything, just leverage that, okay, that you have support. Okay, fiduciaries. So if you guys remember in real estate school, they probably hounded you on this, if you remember correctly. So fiduciary means that you put your client's needs before yours, right? And I think that you can double down on that. Every agent should do this, but not all of them do, right? But they have a little liner here. I can point you to reputable resources to determine the best school district for your kids, right? So just going above and beyond to make sure that your client's needs are met, and really, truly, truly doing what's best for them, right? I've been presented with opportunities. Let me try and think of a specific example. I don't have a specific one actually right now, but there will come a time in your career where you'll be presented with, some gray areas or some situations where, I don't have a specific example, but I just want to let you know, like it'll come up where, you are put in a position where you have to decide, am I going to put my client's needs before anyone else's? And the answer should always 100% be yes. Always, always, always. Dean has said it best one time. He said, not one single deal will make or break your career, right? Like not one single closing will make or break your career, but one bad decision when it comes to these fiduciary responsibilities can absolutely ruin, right? So take that with pride and lean in on that, okay? And then market expert. I can help you price your home to sell because I'm a very tuned into the market of the moment, right? What are you doing every day, right? So do you have a habit of every single day, I'm looking at exactly how many houses are on the market? If I asked you right now, how many houses are on the market? Who could tell me? Let's say a guess. Who knows? Everyone, I want to guess from every single person. How many active listings are there in Utah County specifically? 800? Really? Come on now. Throw out some numbers. Throw out some numbers. Sean? How many homes are active in Utah County right now? And why would that be prevalent to your clients, right? So these are kind of things that you need to ask yourself. Yeah. Let's go see. I'm going to guess. So I know I think there's 8,500 active in Utah. Utah County, I'm going to guess. What'd you guess, Lucas? 800? Yeah, I'd say somewhere around either. Is 1,200 too much? That seems like too much. I'm going to guess 700. Okay, let's go to. Okay, Utah County actually has 1,500. 1,500 active homes for sale in Utah County, right? One thing that I would be very specific on, and I did this when I was shopping a lot of new construction over the summer. So take these numbers with a grain of salt, but I remember being very clear, like, hey, there's 1,500 active listings. Half of those are new construction. Okay. Why is that important to buyers? Well, what new construction right now, right, is got a lot of different enticing things about it, right? Because builders, they need to keep their machines moving. So they're offering a lot of incentives. So half the inventory is new construction. That means there's a lot of opportunity to go get some really good deals, right? So just being in tune to what's going on in our local market is super important. So the cool thing about being a market expert is we have access to all the stats right in front of us, right? This isn't going to be a class specifically on being a market expert, but do you guys hopefully know how to use the MLS to go and get some of that data? Rapid Stats is available to all of us through our MLS subscription. Do you guys know how to get to Rapid Stats? So just real quick, for everyone on Zoom too, I'm going to just show you real quick. Yeah, I think, and Clay one Ignite session went through it. So I just want to show you, if you come to.
You also had it when Kevin came on our invite. I think
Did Kevin show you guys it?
Yeah, very end. Like after so here's me show you guys this as well. Like the rapid stats.
That's perfect. So, and the reason that this is, I'm very data driven. I like using data to make decisions. I had a client that her price point, you guys tell me, I want to know. So you have a client that is pre-approved up to 300,000. Okay. They want to see a home that is 360,000. Okay. You already have a buyer agreement signed with them. Okay. So you don't have to worry about getting the business, right? Because if I didn't have a buyer agreement, I might be open to showing, but let's assume you already have a buyer agreement, right? You're working with this buyer and they want to see a home that's $60,000 above their current pre-approval. What are you going to do? Do you show them the home or not? Or how do you talk to them about that? They want to see a home that's $60,000 above where they're at.
We'll tell them that we can go see the home if you'd like, but so they know, your pre-approval is 300,000. So if you do want to end up buying this home, you have to come in with at least $60,000 more than the bank won't give you.
That's perfect. Okay, so those on Zoom, that was a great response. Someone wants to see a home $60,000 above their pre-approval. That's great. We can go see the home. Just so you know, you have to bring the difference between, you know, your pre-approval amount and the actual purchase price of the home. Their response might be, well, Lucas, you're a great agent. Can't you negotiate it down? Can't you get it from 3,600 or sorry, 360,000 to 300,000, right? Well, obviously Lucas is a great agent, but what's the likelihood of Lucas or any of us taking $60,000 off of a fairly priced listing, right? Assuming that's fairly priced. What I do, or would I suggest we all do, is because I had this happen last week. I went to Rapid Stats and I found the price of what is the average listing selling for. Okay, the average listing right now in Utah County is selling for 97 to about 95 to 97% of its list price. Okay, so what does that equate, right? So if we take 360,000 360,000, and we multiply it by 0.97, that house is likely going to sell for about 345,000 to 350,000, right? Usually, okay? So being able to show them that data, say, hey, listen, I'd love to show you this house, just so you're aware, most homes are only selling for 95. Like the biggest discount we're probably going to get is anywhere from 5 to 3% off this price. I for sure would love to go to bat for you and get as low as a price as possible. But you just have to realize that this is reality, right? Anything that you want to say to that effect, but that puts you in a, not only, right? Because again, what Lucas said is perfect, but then my client said the exact, I said that to them, and then they said, well, can't you just negotiate the difference, right? And I said, listen, I'm one of the best negotiators I know, but here's the reality. This is what the stats tell us, right? So being able to point them back to the reality of the market is super important. So that's just a little tangent, but I do think that being a local expert is probably one of the most overlooked things as a real estate agent. So I would definitely recommend spending some time learning stats. Okay. What are some takeaways right there? Anything that kind of stood out? What was one thing that like you heard, or one thing that maybe popped to mind, either that I said or you thought that you're like, hey, I want to implement that?
Like, checking daily, how much houses are there in the market in Utah County, and then the rapid steps to know how to talk to your clients about how much houses, like, how much negotiation you have available to negotiate for the price.
Love that.
I didn't know that we can check that, like, how much people like can drop down.
Yeah. Perfect. Love that, Lucas. Ariana.
I think I like using, I mean, I wanna of course create like my own little like why use me,
Mm-hmm.
but as a new agent, yes, you have to keep the reputation of like.
Cool.
all of that.
Sweet. Thanks. I love that. Okay. So Lucas said he wants to definitely keep tabs on the market daily. And Ariana said she wants to leverage the value that a larger company brings. Chris, Ian, Corbin, anything that you guys want to shout out? Anything that maybe came to mind that you'd like to share with the group?
Same as Ariana. Just use the KW to your benefit.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Okay.
Yeah, using numbers, just using numbers to your advantage.
Using numbers to your advantage. Awesome. Thanks, Corbin. Yeah, for sure. Now, and not everyone is data driven, right? But I do think that we can all kind of agree that, you know, numbers are numbers, and that's what the reality of the market might be. So use them. Okay. What matters to buyers and sellers? All right. Do we know the answer to this? Okay. So I've always traditionally said, let's see if it's on this. Okay. I don't want to. What is important to, I'm going to have the two people, actually, I'm going to pick on the people on Zoom because our in-person people are being great here. Corbin and then Ian. Corbin, tell me what is the most important thing to a buyer? What are the most important things? There's no right or wrong answer, but just throw it out. What do you think is most important to a buyer?
Location,
Yeah.
price.
Location, price. Yep. Okay, Ian, what's most important to a seller? Got price from Chris. Okay, now there's no right or wrong answer, but I always say, and this is a part of my value proposition, all right? Lucas, you're wanting to buy a home. My job as your buyer specialist, your local expert, your badass realtor, your whatever you are, is to get you into a home for the best price possible with the least amount of headaches possible, right? Something like that. So for some buyers, to find just the right home at the best price and the right time with the least amount of problems. For sellers, my goal is to net you the absolute most money. I want to get you the most money in your pocket in the shortest amount of time frame with the least amount of headaches possible. I always say that, least amount of headaches possible. I also let my clients know the reality is real estate has headaches. It's going to have issues. Our job is to mitigate those, okay? As much as we can. But I will say, to tell your clients that everything will go off without a hitch and there won't be a single headache, like, I'm just warning you, you're setting yourself up for failure because there's certainly going to be things, no matter what. There's certainly going to be things, okay? So that's typically the goal of most buyers and sellers. Now, some vary, right? Some sellers will just throw their house on the market and say, hey, just put it up there, put a sign in the yard, and if we get it, we get it, right? So they're not as motivated. but the truly motivated buyers and sellers, that's typically what they're looking for. Shortest time frame, either the most, shortest time frame for the best deal with the least amount of headaches, right? So that's kind of just have that kind of mantra, all right? I want to, either make you the most money or I want you to save you the most money in the shortest time frame possible, least amount of headaches. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip. So these are the top 10 service areas of the buyer value proposition. So we're gonna look over these. These are super important. If you were at all wondering, like if I said, why should I use a real estate agent? Why should I use Lucas? Why should I use Chris? Why should I use Ian? Why should I use Corbin? Why should I use Hunter? Okay. Now, making these unique to you is going to be important, but if you need a baseline, here's where you can start. Okay. Say, I am X, like, why would I use you as buyer's agent? Well, I'm super thorough at helping my buyers analyze their needs, okay? And helping them get a clear picture of exactly what they want in a home, right? You could talk for 10 minutes exactly how good you are at doing that. And that's extremely valuable to a buyer, no? I'm extremely good at getting my clients in touch with the absolute best lenders in the market, with the best products, with the best rates. And I know that my lenders get the job done. I could talk another 10 minutes about that. Same thing with neighborhoods, home searches, making offers, negotiating to buy, vendor coordination, pre-close preparations, closing, post-closing. All of these things you can add value to your client in any one of these categories, right? So I would highly suggest looking over this, okay? And honestly, I would have a few sentences or two that you could talk about all of these, because the reality is that an agent does touch all of these. So incorporate these into your value. All right. Any thoughts, questions on that? Okay. So when someone asks you, why should I use you? Right. You're going to say, any one of these, 10 different items, and you could talk to them thoroughly about it. Right. You might even say, hey, what are you looking for in an agent? Okay. So they say, why should I use you? Perfect. Lucas, I'd love to talk to you about that. What do you look for in an agent? Well, I look for an agent that knows a lot about the local neighborhoods and that is really good at getting me the best houses in front of me. Well, that's perfect, right? I've lived in Orem my whole life, or I've moved to Orem 10 years ago, or, this and that. And I'm involved in the local PTA meetings and I do this, right? And so you talk to them all about how you're super proficient in that service area. And also home searches. I'm a part of the largest MLS in the country. I do this and that, right? So you just need to have different things that you can speak to in these service areas. Same thing with a seller, very similar to the buyer, just slightly different. So we'll go over those ones. Creating a needs analysis, a pricing strategy, property preparation, marketing strategies, receiving offers, negotiating, sell, pre-close preparation, closing, post-closing, okay? These are all categories where you can deliver high levels of value. And then you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So I would highly suggest, this is on page 93. Page 95 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I'd highly recommend understanding how you deliver value in all of these categories. Because if you have very clear, vision or very clear understanding of how you add values in these categories, 99% of your buyers and sellers, you're going to be able to knock their socks off because you're going to be able to speak to these. Okay. Okay. So when asked, buyers, right? So now we're going to get even more specific. Has anyone in here bought a home before? I think Chris probably, maybe. So, or just anything in general, right? Where you're using an agent, okay? What buyers want the most? This is a poll from a 2021 study. 52% of people, they want an agent to find the right home to purchase. 24% were other, 11% help with price negotiation, help buyers negotiate the terms of the sale. So really buyers want what? They want people to find them the right house. And that's not to say that they don't want other things, right? This is just when they were asked, what's the one thing you want in your agent? So 52% of people want you to get them the house in front of them. Now, the reality of the internet is that they pretty much have access to a good amount of the homes that you will too, okay? Now, there's some different things that we have access to and different levels of information, but you want to be really keen at getting them homes in front of their eyes, okay? Because that's what they want in an agent, right? Okay, factors. So that was kind of what they want most from their agent. And then this is the value that they want when choosing an agent, okay? So agent is honest and trustworthy, agent's experience, reputation. So in this poll, they did say agent's experience is up there, right? And again, as a new agent, that's just a reality. You just have to deal with that one. But again, I think I'd actually challenge you that it comes up a lot less than you think. Your experience isn't going to be as important as you might initially think. But there you go. So that's what buyers want. Sellers, what do the sellers want from their agent? They want to help price homes competitively, help seller market home to potential buyers, help the sell of the home within a specific time frame, help the seller find ways to fix up the home and sell it for more. Okay, and then 27 other. So again, if I was trying to determine my value proposition or how I help my clients, I would get clear on how do I do these things? How do I help my clients price competitively, right? What is my CMA process? What is my CMA? How do I deliver it, right? So I would get really clear on some of those things. Okay, and then what do the sellers consider when choosing an agent? Reputation, okay? Guess what? Reputation of an agent is honest and trustworthy, okay? These things, your reputation, your honesty, your level of trustworthiness. Do you have to have sold 100 homes to have a good reputation? Do you have to have sold 100 homes to be honest and trustworthy? Absolutely not. And we just determined that like 50% of the reason that people choose an agent is because of that, right? So what I'm saying here is just by being yourself, you actually put yourself in a really good position to earn people's business, right? Cool. Another value is definitely the technology. And now I'm a big fan of the KW technology, but whether you use it or not, I highly recommend you do. Just letting your clients know that you're in tune with technology, right? So me personally, one of my favorite things to tell clients is every single lead, especially on a listing, every single lead that calls immediately goes into my CRM, and we have a thorough follow-up system to make sure that we sell this person either your property or another, right? The reason that's beneficial to you, it's a two-way street. One is because we're going to call this client and try and sell them your property every single day for the next like 60 days. And should it not work out for them to buy this property, we actually have the opportunity to sell them other properties. Now, depending on the client, you might not tell them that because you don't want them to think that you're not going to try and sell them your property. But as an agent, you guys can understand that the follow-up of, hey, I'm going to sell them this house or another house. That means I'm going to treat every single lead that comes in on a property as gold, right? And that's super valuable. And so utilizing technology to do some of those systems is important, okay? Okay, now we're going to actually define our value proposition. You guys today are going to sit down for just a minute and define what your value is, okay? So there's 3 steps to define your value proposition. Identify your knowledge, attitudes, skills, and benefits, and beliefs that make you qualified to be a great real estate agent. Transform the value you provide and the value of KW in your market center into benefits for your clients, and then build the statement, okay? So step 1, we're gonna spend about 2 or 3 minutes just thinking to yourselves, write it down, hopefully. Identify your knowledge, attitudes, skills, and beliefs that make you qualified to be a great real estate agent, okay? I'm gonna turn the time over to you guys for about 3 minutes. So please start working on this on your own. I expect the people on Zoom to do it as well. I need you guys to think to yourself, what makes you a great person, great agent, great friend? Think about that right now, just for a few minutes. I'm going to turn on just some thinking music for just about 3 minutes here. And I'm going to be asking you guys what you came up with. So I expect you to actually take this serious. Maybe it's not skills, attributes, or beliefs that you have right now, but ones that you want to develop as well, okay? So be cognizant of that, but hopefully it's things that you already have as well. Cool. All right. We're gonna be a little vulnerable here, okay? That's okay? Is that all right? I want everyone to share what is one thing that comes to mind. Either something that you know, an attitude, a skill or belief that you have that makes you qualified to be a great agent, and I'll participate. So I'll kick it off. I was just reflecting, and I think one thing that makes me a great agent is that everything works out for me no matter what. Okay, so even when something doesn't, I look for the bright side, right? If something doesn't go my way, I push forward and I find resolutions that are great. So that's something about me. Lucas, you mind sharing?
So I think I'm hardworking, so if I
Hardworking.
My mind, I know I'll reach it, so it's like it me to help them find a home. I know the most 100% of my afraid to find them the best home possible.
Cool, cool. Yeah,
I think that I can reach a different market of people, just like with my age, and I am bilingual, and
cool.
I think I'm a different market, and
Yeah.
let them know that a different group of people, and maybe I'm more available because of my age, and I'm more family, and I can just be available.
Cool. Okay, so Ariana said she can use the fact that she's bilingual and also her age to tap into a different type of market. Cool. Dawson, what makes you great, man?
Well, I feel like I'm a pretty trustworthy person. I feel like I'm really good at making connections and talking to people. and
Cool.
Just, yeah, gaining that trust on people.
Sweet. Okay, Dawson's super trustworthy. Okay, anyone on Zoom willing to share?
I was gonna say, patience. I have a lot of patience with things. And then coming from multiple different industries, whether it's blue collar work or like film work, just being able to empathize with different people from different backgrounds, as well as like be able to talk to people my age as well as people that are older. Just on their level.
Sweet, sweet. Thank you, Corbin. Chris, Ian, you guys willing to share? Should we move on? Okay, we'll move on. So now transform the value you provide and the value of the KW, value of KW in your market center into beliefs for your clients. Okay. So now I want you to think. Right? So we kind of talked about what makes us great. How is that a benefit for your client? Okay. How would that in turn help them what? Sell their home for the most money in the shortest time frame possible, least amount of headaches. Right? How does Dawson being super trustworthy help a buyer get a home for the best price in the quickest time frame possible with the least amount of headache? Okay. How does Corbin coming from multiple industries? How does that benefit his clients that are looking to buy or sell? Okay. So this probably doesn't take as much time, but spend just another 30 seconds kind of thinking over that. Okay. How do your unique skills benefit your clients? And I know that this isn't just a bunch of like hoorah that we're just talking about, because we're actually going to make this very applicable. Okay. So I want you to think about this for just a second. I won't even play music, just 30 seconds. Just take some time, think about why your skills or attributes benefit your client. Cool. Okay. So we're gonna have a video to watch here that's really cool. Does anyone know who Tom Ferry is? You guys heard his name? So he's a really big real estate coach and agent, runs one of the most successful kind of real estate training programs in the country. We're gonna be talking, we're gonna walk through his elevator pitch, okay? You guys know what an elevator pitch is?
It's like short amount of time to talk to someone like.
Yes, exactly. So if you have a short window, right? Essentially, you're going up an elevator, okay, and you meet someone, how are you gonna build rapport in such a short amount of time that they want to stay connected with you? And they also walk away knowing what you do. Another thing that we're gonna work on today establishing is also what we call our verbal business card, okay? So if I met you and you said, what do you do? Well, I'm a real estate agent. There's 3,000 agents in Utah County. How does that separate me? What if I said, hey, Hunter, what do you do? Man, I help people make really good investment decisions in the realm of real estate, right? That's a lot different than I'm just a real estate agent, yeah? Okay, so we're gonna be kind of toying with those ideas right now as we move forward. We're gonna watch this video. I think it's about 12 minutes, but this is gonna be super important. It's gonna encapsulate delivering your value proposition. So I'm gonna press play on this. We're gonna watch it together, and then we're gonna actually take action on the activity. Make sure how long. Yeah, it's 12 minutes. Let me get this up. Hang on, make sure our people on Zoom can hear it too. Boom. All right. Sorry. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, that was jam packed. Right. Someone on Zoom. Oh, we lost Ian. Oh, and we lost Chris. All right. Ariana, something you gleaned from there. What was impactful about that video?
I mean, I think the main thing is like being and make yourself stand out. It's just a matter of, I don't think that there's anything that really makes anybody truly unique. Like we're all basic human, you know.
Yeah,
There's not
yeah.
a lot, so it's just a matter of like finding something, going with it, and making it like your point. Like,
Cool.
This is it, and then
Yeah.
it's like pushing that.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't think there's. Sure, we all have our things, but.
I think it was cool how he said he addresses the problem right off the bat. Like, so you might be talking to someone, oh yeah, I'm in the market, or so Hunter, what do you do? Right. I was just kind of toying with it, right? Oh, I make home shopping super affordable for people and without any headaches, right? Something like that. Which that's impossible in this market. Actually, let me tell you how we're doing it, right? Gosh, let's think. What are some other objections, right? Lucas, anything that stood out in that video for you?
Yeah, so I like the 4 things you need to do. Like
Yeah.
amplify the problem, offer your solution, CTA, and the most persuasive words to use. I like those because like it's just defining your value to the person. So.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Okay. Okay, ahas to achievement. Okay, how has your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about? How your behaviors change? What tools, models, and systems would you use? So what I really want to have happen, because I don't just like when they asked me to teach this class, I didn't just say yes just to say yes. I did it because I really do want to have agents make changes in their business. Okay. So please, for my sake and for your sake, this week, try and implement what we're kind of discussing today. Try and start, putting it into practice. I'd love for you to look back and be like, yeah, that actually, has had an effect on my business over the years. So not even to, it has nothing to do with me, but everything to do with you implementing what we discussed today, right? So daily success system. This is an opportunity for you to deliver your value. We've talked about this a ton. The daily 10 4s, 10 conversations, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 social media engagements. Kind of I would say, ideal standard, especially for a brand new agent of your interactions. But I actually wanted to talk to, okay, so I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. Okay. I love starting my phone calls with something like this, like sitting down and just being like, because listen, I get it. Sometimes it sucks to make calls. I get it. I'm the first one to say it. I don't like it. But it just has to get done, right? But I've noticed that when I'm just like, I'm going to swallow that frog and I'm going to do it, or I'm just going to make the call. But I also like go into the phone call just knowing that people like to talk to me. I just tell myself that these people, they are excited to hear from me. And I go into that conversation with that in my mind, right? That helps me every time get on the phone. A really good book that you guys might want to listen to. I'm just finishing it right now, called The Rejection Project. Let me look. Rejection Proof. Okay, really good book. I'm almost done with it. Rejection Proof. Okay. Now, the reason I bring this up is because as a new agent, I know what it's like to feel rejected. Okay, and even as an existing agent, I'll share with you guys. I lost out this morning on a $1.3 million commercial building that I've been working on since September. Okay. So I've been working on it since September, and I got an email this morning that they're not going to be moving forward with me. Okay. Guess what my immediate response is? What I think most people, and I'm not like something special, I'm just something that I've been developing. Most people will be like, all right, time to go home. Time to freaking kick off the shoes. I just lost out on a $1.3 million listing. Guess what I'm thinking? On to the next. Real estate is so full of opportunity. Think on to the next. I like, if you miss out on opportunity, just know that there's other ones coming around the corner. Okay. I once was told that we work at a fast food restaurant. Okay. Because next, you don't want to work with me. You don't want to talk to me. You cuss at me on the phone. You hang up, say, don't call me. Next, right? People's response to you has way more to do with them than it does you. Yeah. If you're coming from a place of, hey, I'm contributing, like I genuinely believe that I'm a market expert and I want to share this good news with other people. If they don't want to hear it, that's their loss. Don't let it affect you. Okay. We are going to do some role play real quick before we. So you'll notice, like, look, the way they have this Ignite class or this Ignite class set up. Hang on, go back. It's very much 20 minutes of role play, 10 minutes of preparing a list, 45 minutes of phone calls, 30 minutes of follow-up. So we took a little bit more time on the prep. We won't do all of that, but I did want to show you guys this really quick, and then we're gonna do just a few role plays just to kind of make sure we practice that, and then I'll turn the rest of the time over to you guys. Have you guys heard of this book, Exactly What to Say? Okay, this is the first book that I read when I got licensed, and then recently reread it. Super valuable. Okay. Now I remember. What are your guys' thoughts on script practice? How do you guys feel about that? I know that when I was an agent, I had a new agent, I had some opinions about it. What do you guys think?
I think it's hard, but it's worth it.
Hard but worth it.
That's what I noticed with like door knocking. I had to memorize the scripts and stuff, but at first it was like it doesn't sound natural. But once you like memorize the script and then turn it to your words and stuff,
Yeah.
it seems a lot more natural and it's a lot easier to say. So when you give rebuttals or stuff, like what ways to talk to it instead of like winging it,
Exactly. Yeah. So Corbin asked the question, and Lucas said that helps him feel like he's not having to wing it, right? The other thing I think that script practice does is it gives you, because I remember thinking scripts are, it almost seems robotic. Like the idea of scripts makes me think that it's ungenuine. What scripts does is it actually gives you an opportunity to have breathing room in a conversation, right? Because sometimes you get hit with objections. Sometimes you get hit with stuff that you're not prepared to answer, and you want to have this conversation continue to be productive. So having some dialogue in mind helps you just kind of navigate conversations. And you can make it your own. So anyway, this book, Exactly What to Say as a Real Estate Agent, I highly recommend it. I still use this first one. I use every single day, just about every single day. Okay. My clients that are actively shopping or clients that are on the fence, guess what? I will send them houses and I'll say, hey, this popped up. I'm not sure it's for you, but I wanted to keep you in the loop because interest rates are coming down. Or, hey, I'm not sure this is for you, but this house has a basement apartment. I know that you've been looking for something like that, right? I use that one every single day. Okay. Another one that I use a ton is a variation of how open-minded are you, right? So someone, had reached out to you in the past, we had a discussion. Hey, how open-minded are you to looking at, if it makes sense for you to buy a house? People don't want to be closed-minded. Well, I'm open-minded. Or I'd say, hey, Lucas, would you be at all offended if I got your email and made sure I sent you houses month, like something, let me rephrase that. Hey, Lucas, would you at all be offended if, I swung by and dropped off a It could be anything, you know, a CMA for your house, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just something like that. So I use that one a ton. Would you at all be offended, right? So just having a few of these dialogues memorized is gonna help you tremendously moving forward. And I also think that they're really good transition conversations that you can have. So you've given your elevator pitch, and then you could say, you know, how open-minded are you for us to stay in touch? Well, I'm not closed-minded. Yeah, I'm open-minded. Perfect. Can I get your phone number and email? So anyway, okay. All right, Corbin, this might be a little bit tricky for you online. So, well, actually, let's do this. Okay, we're gonna do a role play. Okay. We're gonna spend just a few seconds, maybe a minute or two, kind of thinking about our elevator pitch. Okay. And then we're gonna practice with each other. Okay. Does that sound okay? That sound good to you guys? All right, so we're gonna do that. So spend the next just minute or two thinking about this. Okay. So ideally, we're gonna have about 30 seconds to meet someone. Okay. Or maybe a little bit longer. Could be just in the grocery store. But ideally, it's gonna be when they ask, so what do you do? Okay. Like, who are you? Right. I want you to be able to tell that story concisely and pique their interest. Okay. So go, start thinking, and then I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to introduce myself to you. You're going to introduce yourself to me, and then we're going to go from there. Okay. All right. It's cool to get a little vulnerable. We're going to work on this now. Okay. So, Lucas, you cool if we practice? Okay. So, we're in the grocery store. Okay. Open the milk aisle. And the reason I'm being specific because this happened to me the other night. We're in the milk aisle. And you know, we bump into each other and say, hey, how's it going, man? Go from there. Just take me through it. How would you do it? And we can, you know, just run me through it and then we'll go from there. Okay.
I studied the market at a professional level to help people save money and make a smart move in real estate now.
Cool. Awesome. So like you like a real estate agent or broker?
Yeah, I'm a real estate agent.
Cool. Awesome. How's that been for you?
It's been going pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've helped a lot of people make smart decisions in investing into real estate, showing them the pros and cons of investing into real estate.
Wow. That's awesome, man. You know, real estate's always been something that's intriguing to me.
Okay, great. Is it cool if I get your information so I can reach out to you in the future if you have any real estate needs?
Sure. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Something as simple as that. Right? We fine tune as we go, and obviously in a you know real conversation, it might be a little different. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I work for a local. You know, my name's Hunter. I work for a local company doing X, Y, and Z. What do you do, Ariana?
If people invest their money in real estate, and future success.
You guess?
No, I do.
You do. Boom. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
I know, I just don't know.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So be thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
I know it's a little wonky to do it like right here, but it's gonna come up. The other night, and I say this specifically because I was in the milk aisle and I ran into Tim Crump. Okay. Tim Crump and I struck up a conversation. He asked what I did. And I said, yeah, man, I help people make excellent decisions in real estate. Oh, that's awesome. Are you an agent? Yeah, I'm a real estate agent. It's been super awesome for me. And one thing now that having been, I didn't say this at the time, but now having gone through today with you guys, I could have said, you know, a lot of people or most people, they think that real estate is super unattainable. They think it's something that they can't tap into. Have you ever felt that way? Yes or no? Yeah. Oh, well, I'm here to tell you, or I'd love to tell you that it's actually not that tricky, right? Or with the right person, you can actually get into a home a lot sooner than you think. Would there be a good time, or would you all be opposed for me to get your number and us set up time to discuss this further? Right? Something like that, right? And just kind of have those conversations on hand, ready to go. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Yeah.
My struggle isn't a part of defining myself, but it's starting the conversation. Like, how do you just randomly start talking?
Yeah. Great question. So, I would think so this was just obviously if you're calling people, that's one thing that we can talk about. And then this was just in the store. So how I did it was I was opening the fridge to look for some, I was in the milk aisle grabbing milk and he was looking for whipping cream. And he was talking to an employee and he was like, man, you don't have this in a smaller container? And I just kind of chirped in, I was like, yeah, you're right, they don't have it in a smaller container. Like, I genuinely was just like, I wasn't even thinking real estate at the time. I just was like, yep, you're right, they don't. And I was kind of looking for them too, because I was actually gonna get some whipping cream as well. And I was like, you're right, man, I think this is the only option we have. It's like, yeah, dang it. It's like, well, why do you need whipping cream? Me and my wife are making chicken. I was like, that's so cool. Yes, what I need. I'm like, oh, I'm making a protein shake. So on and so forth. We got talking. And then, where are you from? What do you do? Ford method, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. What do you do? Where are you from? What do you work in? He works for DR Horton. He works as a, something. I'm like, dude, you work for DR Horton? That's awesome. I work in real estate as well. What do you do in real estate? I help people make excellent financial decisions. You're an agent? Yeah, I am. Right? I help people understand that it's not too crazy to buy a home right now. Have you ever thought about buying a home? That's how I struck up that conversation. If it was on the phone, that is a little bit different, right? Because you're directly going to them. But typically, if I'm calling a lead that I haven't talked to in a while, hey, Lucas, how's it going? You'll say, hey, who is this? It's Hunter, that annoying real estate agent that calls you once a quarter. I'll say that all the time. I'll coin myself that annoying or that pestering real estate agent. And you know why I do that? Because it kind of lightens the mood. I don't always do it, but like it also, if it's someone that I'm a very uncomfortable and I don't want to talk to, I especially like to do that because it almost takes out the objection from them, right? Because they're like, Hunter's calling again. I'm like, hey man, it's that guy that blows up your phone every year. See if you want to buy or sell. But then I don't immediately go into real estate. I then just have a conversation and then it naturally progresses. The other thing that I would encourage you guys to do when you're calling leads or calling people, do not, like my name's Hunter Chiniquy and I work for Keller Williams. I never say, hey, this is Hunter Chiniquy with Keller Williams on the Red Sign Real Estate team. Like that is such a word, like that is so many words. Think about this, the last agent that you maybe talked to, do you remember what company they worked for? Do you remember their last name? No, so I always just say, hey, it's Hunter, your local real estate expert. Or hey, Hunter, it's your local realtor, right? Hunter, your local real estate agent, or Hunter, local real estate expert. Like they don't care what company you're with, at least not in this stage, right? When you're first talking to them. So that's a little tidbit as well. Cool. All right. Go sell some houses. Okay. Okay. What are you, I want to know, what is, so it's Friday. Okay. New Year as well, right? 2024. I want to know everyone's favorite flavor of ice cream, and then the one thing that they're going to do moving forward to implement in their business. Okay, Lucas, favorite ice cream flavor and what you're going to do today or next week.
The ice cream is probably mango.
Mango. That's an interesting flavor. Mango ice cream. All right. Okay. Now, what's the one thing from today that you're going to implement into your business?
Just changing up some of my words because I'm doing door knocking. So changing some of the words that he said,
Cool.
helping to my script to help build more clients while knocking. I feel
Cool.
like I've been getting a lot of not interested, but if I change up some of these words to catch their attention more,
Yeah.
will help with that.
Yeah. Cool. Brianna, favorite ice cream? Vanilla. Classic. Okay. And what do you want to change in your business or implement?
The biggest thing is just making it like day-to-day thing. There's so many instances where I'm out in public and a conversation can't be had, or people initiate a conversation, or there's something I can chime in and say, and I either am just there, like, at the grocery store, I'm doing whatever, and I'm like, I'm here to do my own thing, on my headphones in, bend down, like,
Yeah.
focus on myself. And it's like cool making that working time for other things, opposed to focusing on me.
Yeah.
Like this year's more about more outward and like.
Yeah.
More, like, be the ones to be like, oh yeah, like talking on every little thing.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that book Rejection Proof, I highly recommend it because I've been reframing my thinking. Again, who cares, right? Like that person, if it goes well, then you'll be happy it did. And if it doesn't, guess what? You never have to talk to them ever again, and they'll probably forget in like 20 minutes. They won't even remember you talked to them, right? So like just get in the habit of just interjecting yourself into situations. Again, the reason that I brought up the fact that, you remember, I said I lost out on that listing. The reason I don't care is because I know is if I'm just consistent in this business, more opportunity arises, right? But that only happens if you are willing to put yourself out there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you all. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thanks to those on Zoom. Ritz, thank you, my friend.